on the victory?
This is what we expected. This is what we expected. You know, game plan with these guys all week long was games like the other night against Austin P aren't going to happen for the rest of the season. And you know, as happy as I am about this win, I just told these guys I'm so happy to be a head coach now, because one of the things that I don't have to do is scouting reports. And I got to watch the game in a different way, but my assistants, they bust their tails and watch film and crunch numbers and put these guys in a position to kind of know who the other team is. And we knew who Cornell was, and they still did exactly what they do. Credit to them for kind of executing and making shots the way they do. But overall, at the end of the day, it's not going to be pretty. And we responded in the second half, and I'm just glad that we're in here, 3-0.
Questions for the student athletes first?
Keyshawn Hall, you got to the basket pretty efficiently today. I'm wondering, is there something you saw pre-game, or was it something that happened during the game where you felt like you couldn't be stopped getting to the basket?
Like in practices but coming into the game, they told us that I can just get to the basket, like rip, get strong, and like play hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just keep attacking, because they're gonna run and jump and they don't want to guard that good. But they actually play great defense, and my teammates found me, and I seen through the game that they was just bagging up. So just keep attacking. So.
Polite, you got a pretty big three there in the second half. Did you see something there? Kind of lulled them to sleep and then got the three. What'd you see in that play?
I just seen the clock ticking down. We had run a little bit of offense. We was pretty stagnant at that point. So I just, at that point in time, I was just thinking, just make a play. And he was sagging off, so I felt I took the right shot.
Keyshawn, 40 minutes tonight. How do you feel after that on your back?
I can say I'm feeling better than I used to. If I played the minutes, I'm feeling better. My body, I got to get some treatment, but I feel better after losing so much weight. So I just been conditioning and playing hard, you know what I'm saying, just attacking it. So I'm going to feel better after I get recovery.
When coming out the locker room, the defense was more physical and it looked more energized. What was the message at a halftime?
Just pick up the intensity, the aggressiveness. They was hitting deep threes, and we just got to get up, put pressure on them. We wasn't putting no ball pressure on them for real in the first half. So just flipping that switch, being more aggressive. JB started off, I think it was the first possession on defense. He got like 5 deflections in one possession. So that just got our energy up off the rip in the second half. So just being more intense on defense.
Anything else for the student athletes? Okay, thanks, guys.
Good job, boys.
Coach Hall played all 40 minutes today. Did you feel like you couldn't take him out? It was just like that kind of game for him?
Yeah, I mean, this was a little bit of a nail biter. And, when you have Darius Maddox who gets in foul trouble, and you get Amari Kelly who gets in foul trouble, you lose a lot of your offense. And, credit to Keyshawn, like he said, this is a kid that came in from UNLV that, was 6'7", 285 pounds. He's now 6'7", 227. I'm trying to get him back to 235, because he's going to have to be able to endure that physicality once we get into conference play. But, he's been great. He's a worker. He's such a worker. He's a guy that comes in. We keep a track of, the extra work that these guys get. It's called vitamin hours. And this is just kind of voluntary hours, whether it's the weight room, whether it's film, whether it's getting shots up with the managers. And, out of 16 guys, including our walk-ons, Keyshawn Hall is always 1 or 2. And so a night like this, when we really, really needed him, I'm just proud of him that he was able to go out there and, it's not easy playing 40 minutes and then getting your number called time after time and being able to make a play. And so, he's definitely a hero tonight, and, I'm happy for him.
I fully expected to see Amari Kelly back up here for his third game. Another 17-7 performance. I asked him last week, but tell me, what is it about right now that's allowing him to play so well?
I've known that kid for a long time. I watched him in high school. He was really good in high school. and I've watched him through, for the course of his career. Wasn't really quite sure production-wise why he could never figure it out, but that's the beautiful thing about having 5 years to play for. He's older. He understands things a little bit more. He's playing with a lot more confidence. When he got here in the summer, we were super, super surprised at how good he was offensively. And, again, he played on the UNC Wilmington team that was really, really good, but they were very, very guard heavy and kind of used him. They used him, but not as much. He's been everything in practice. You throw the ball inside to him, he's hard to guard, and he's got Malik guarding him every single day. And so when you have that type of a defender guarding you every day without knowing it, you're getting better in practice. And he's got off to a great start. And, we needed him for all 20 minutes tonight, but we're gonna keep punching it inside until somebody figures that out.
It was a pretty chippy game. Fans were getting into it with the Cornell coach. What happened there in the handshake line?
It was a tough game, like you said. That's just what happens sometimes, and that's part of the game. If it was the other way around, it might have been tough to, walk down that line and give a solid handshake. But Cornell's a good team, and, one of the assistant coaches, he just came over to the locker room and just kind of, gave me the heads up. He didn't mean anything intentionally, but, it's a tough game, and, sometimes, emotions get, a little bit higher in the handshake line, but it wasn't nothing. It's part of the business.
What was the things that were giving you some consternation in the first half with their actions that got them to open threes? And then what adjustments did you make at halftime? Because they only had 10 attempts as opposed to 19 that they had in the first half.
Yeah, well, when you're guarding a Princeton offense, I never want to play a team that's running the Princeton offense. We kind of got this game part of our MTE. It's just hard to, especially with the way we switch, it's hard to consistently not mess up. Between getting backdoored, our guys are so worried about getting backdoored. Instead of switching out because they're shooters, they were switching out, but not switching out aggressively enough. And you got 5 guys that can really shoot the basketball, including their 5-man. It took us having to watch the film. We watched all 9 threes in the locker room at halftime, and we just made that adjustment that we have to be a little bit more aggressive. And again, this is a team that I expect them, because on film they were really, really good against Fordham. I expect them to be really, really good in their league. But we made that adjustment. Those guys responded. JB came in there, and he was JB. And he kind of set the tone those first couple of possessions that kind of carried us through. I think they only attempted 10 threes in the second half, where they made almost 10 in the first half. And so that adjustment was made, and, definitely it's a big reason why we got the W today.
I know you obviously haven't had a chance to watch any film, but what were some of the things in a game like this that's a high-intensity, stressful game, how your players reacted? What were some of the things that you were proud of that not only did they win, but was kind of pulling away there at the end?
Yeah, I think, and I told them this at halftime, it's a physical game when you're playing against a team like Cornell who's running and jumping you. They kind of set the tone where it might be a foul, but it might not be, and the referees have to, they got to do their jobs, but you can't expect them to give you anything. And I think the biggest thing, I just told them that they have to kind of remain calm and have poise. If anyone's going to lose their marbles, let it be me. I'll always protect my guys, and so, these nights are going to happen at the end of the day. When you have guys like Ronnie Polite on the floor, senior, you have guys like Amari Kelly on the floor, senior, Malik Henry, senior. Sometimes it's just about figuring this thing out. And I thought for about 3/4 of the game, they beat us, not only with the way that they're playing and shooting threes, they also beat us with the 50-50 balls. But down the stretch, we picked up that sense of urgency, and we came up with some big stops, because a team like that, if you're up 6 with a minute, it's really like being up 1. They make 2 threes, all of a sudden it's a completely different ball game. But we figured that thing out.
Anything else for Tony?
Yeah, so the first couple games this year, it seemed like you guys really won with your defense. Held the other
Not tonight.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. We were second in the country 2-point field goal percentage, and I was really, really happy. I've been bragging about that, even though I knew that wasn't going to last for very long. But yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, what I was gonna say is, I think the fact that you guys scored a lot tonight, were able to win really a shootout. I guess all the foul shots in the second half kind of inflated that a bit, but still, what do you think it says about your team that you've been able to win different ways?
Yeah, I mean, certain days I'm worried about, how we're going to guard. Certain days I'm worried about how we're going to score. A night like tonight, the offense obviously prevailed us. We shot, 50% from the field, 41% from three. We knocked down our free throws, and it's just the yin and yang of basketball. Sometimes that's what it takes. It was an exciting game from the very start of the game. And again, when these guys are stepping up the way they are offensively, we're going to keep on riding their backs, and we'll obviously have to watch the film and tweak some things. But with that Princeton offense, man, it was a really, really good practice for us because, Charlotte kind of plays the exact same way, and hopefully we're going to have a little bit different of a mindset as we head to Florida.
Sure. Yeah, looking at the box score, one thing that really sticks out to me is 24 points off turnovers. That's huge.
Yeah.
So, they had 13 to get 24 points. So maybe the defense wasn't as tight as it's been, but I think that says a lot about the way your team's been playing to really, capitalize on those turnovers. So, is that something you've really stressed and want to emphasize? I don't think we've seen this brand of basketball. Maybe I don't even remember the last time that we've George Mason team has really capitalized off of turnovers, and it's been the other way in the past.
That was like 100 questions in one. Recruiting. That's what recruiting is. My staff, when we got this job, I had faith in them that we were going to go out there and get the type of guys that were going to fit the way that I wanted to play. And when you're able to get, 6 guys from the DMV, I won't be able to get another player if I walk the ball up. And so I would say recruiting, and I would also say these guys in a different way, they forgot the assignment as far as, how they play. But, what we did harp on is as hard as they're pressing, they're running and jumping, we got to be aggressive the same exact way. And I thought they kept their antennas up. And when given the opportunity, it became really 4-on-3 basketball, even sometimes, 5-on-3. And so I was glad that we converted. We did turn it over. We had a sequence where we couldn't even get the ball across half court. But we're going to have to go back, watch the film. I'm going to have to figure that out because, if I'm another team, I'm pressing this as well. But 22 points definitely off of turnovers was big for us tonight. And again, we're going to have to find different ways to score the basketball, and we're going to stay aggressive at all times, especially when you have certain guys on the floor. This was, again, a night where Darius Maddox, he had a big one down the stretch. It's a learning curve for him. He got in foul trouble. It's hard to get in rhythm when you're going in and out of the game, but I got full faith in that kid. He's one of the best shot makers in the country, and for as long as we can win games when he's not having a great night, that's a big sign because his time is coming and these games will be a lot different.
Thanks, Ty.